people on YouTube. So 20 and 45, what's that? 65. All right, we have 65,000 people watching.
Don't worry about it, nigga.
Um,
Just sit there, nigga.
Yesterday when people preliminarily and prematurely started tweeting out what the verdict was going to be, I knew that was number one going to be cap. This is 8 days of trial. People on 8 days of long, grueling trial. So this has been a roller coaster, up and down. You know, I believe, and I scored everything from start to beginning. I felt Meg did a pretty good job on the stand. Okay, what more could you want from a victim, right? Of course, they're gonna point out the fact that she said other things in public interviews, but it is what it is. She showed up, she handled business. Kelsey showed up and fucked up the whole prosecutor's plan. The detective, who couldn't really testify in the capacity that you would want him to testify because he's on administrative leave for the prosecutors, and even the defense called him, that was shaky. Again, there was not much DNA that would suggest that it was beyond a reasonable doubt that Tory Lanez definitely had possession of the gun. Meg said that she didn't see him shoot her. She saw him right before he allegedly shot her. Kelsey said she never seen, at least while in court, she said she never seen Tory with the gun at all. Even though
my bad, bro.
in a September interview, which that's what the prosecutor is really harping on, the prosecutor is basically telling the jury, don't listen to anything she said in this last week. They played an 80-minute interview that was 3 months old and said, listen to what she said then. In that interview, she said that Tory shot Meg. Okay? Remember, and I think Tory's lawyer made this point, and again, I'm trying to be very impartial, but we got to realize what this trial is. I keep saying, if you came here to figure out who shot Meg, it's not the place for you to figure this out. This is a criminal trial. Tory is the defense. He's not the prosecutor. All he has to raise is reasonable doubt. He didn't have to put on a case to show beyond a reasonable doubt that he didn't do it. He just had to muddy the waters. There's a few other things that show I ain't do it. So if you're here trying to figure out who did it, you're at the wrong spot. We're only here to figure out who will be found guilty. Okay? Very shortly and in a couple of minutes, and I mean minutes, we're minutes away from figuring this out. Keep in mind, the only person who said they ever, which this I keep saying Cheddar Bob, the only person who ever said they seen Tory Lanez pull a trigger is Tory Lanez's own witness. But they said, not at the woman, which would be Meg, but in the air. They said they seen Kelsey shoot at the woman, and then like Tory somehow got the gun, then shot in the air wildly. Keep in mind, Kelsey, Nicole, has she has an immunity deal, but it's the immunity deal for only use. I believe it's use immunity, not transactional immunity, which means she doesn't have immunity for everything that happened that night. Granted, the DA did say on the record they would not charge her, and I think it would just be ethically wrong, even if Tory gets found innocent, for them to go back and try to charge Kelsey. So I think it's a deaded case, and even if it's a mistrial, I think that's just a whole deaded thing. It doesn't seem like it's a mistrial. We've heard a verdict has been reached. Okay, I'm gonna keep refreshing these things as much as I can.
Say my mama, hold on a second. Wait till it's time the food.
I keep refreshing as much as I can, but essentially, what we're seeing now is basically the jury have to decide on these strict, and when I mean strict, and by the way, again, this is very late in the game, but I looked it up today, right? Number one, first and foremost, there's a few exhibits that they probably showed in court, right? So they seen the gun, this and third. They heard the audio from a Ring camera, right, where there was gunshots being fired. Apparently it was like pop, 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 pause, maybe like a few seconds, and pop, pop. So it shows that it wasn't consistent pulling of the trigger. Tory's attorneys have argued, no, that means there was a struggle. Tory was trying to wrestle the gun from Kelsey, who was trying to shoot Meg. There's a lot of things to kind of get to when it comes to that. If you're wondering, the particular gun, gun looks mostly like this. you know, obviously this is Negro and just like fucking just
Gun talk.
random fan, like, you know, commentary. They're
gun,
like, well,
bro.
that don't look like a gun that a man would be carrying. But I'm gonna be honest, there's no gun that means there's no look for a gun that would mean a man would carry it or hold it.
That's a
you know what I
girl
mean?
gun.
Who cares, right?
That's a bitch gun.
But this was the particular gun being used. Okay, it was this small. Like I'm a
Tory,
31-year-old male.
It
would fit very small in the palm of my hand, right? Again,
that mean the world.
doesn't matter that much. Tory's like 5'0", right? So who knows? Not saying it's his gun, not saying it's not. The prosecutor has used that fact and used a lot of other facts to say, well, you know what? The gun didn't belong to the bodyguard.
What did you write on that?
The gun didn't belong to anybody else, but one of the ladies who had it in a bag.
When can he see
and
it?
they are trying to use the circumstantial evidence to say that gun was probably in there before. And at the time of the shooting, when police pulled over the car, the bag that was packed in the trunk was then moved to this almost like the center, which means it's clear that somebody took something out of the bag. The defense want to say it's one of the girls' guns.
Hey, mama, y'all,
and one of the girls,
my family got on
Kelsey,
YouTube.
took the gun and tried to shoot.
The Lane's Tory
again,
is in a
it didn't go too much into it. Unfortunately, the two bodyguards did not testify at this trial.
Pause.
The two bodyguards did not testify at this trial. Why is it important?
Pause.
Meg's bodyguard, who wasn't there,
the mic when you speak, bitch.
she claims that when Tory went back 2 days afterwards to pick up his stuff, because remember, he went to jail, everybody went to the hospital or was being questioned. So some of his stuff went to wherever she was going. When he went to go pick up his stuff, apparently he confronted her bodyguard, and her bodyguard claims that Tory told her, hey, I'm sorry for shooting Meg.
There you go.
However, her bodyguard was absent the entire trial. Keep in mind, the star witness, you know what, Meg did her thing. There's no, can't disparage Meg. Meg did her thing. But the second star witness was going to be Kelsey. The prosecutor had their script. They were ready for Kelsey to say, yeah, I seen Tory shoot Meg. Kelsey said, I ain't never seen Tory with a gun. I see Tory act any type of violence. Yeah, we argued, but he didn't, he wasn't beating me. Goes against what she said earlier.
Is bullshit, man.
Apparently she said in the interview, Tory whipped her ass. Apparently she said earlier that she seen Tory shoot. So that witness was out the you know, contradicted what the prosecutor thought they were going to say. Then we were hoping that the bodyguard would come in because the bodyguard said Tory admitted it. The bodyguard never showed up till the last day. The bodyguard never took the stand. So what the prosecutor promised the jury that they would have heard in a trial, two of those things didn't happen. Kelsey switched the story. The bodyguard never testified. That's how it is. Yeah. It's probably gonna take a few minutes for this to be updated.
Basically 1:30 in total. Then I gotta get.
It's we are literally moments away.
Let
me go to all the people who are in court.
Expensive.
James Quealy is definitely.
I sell that next week and send you some money.
These are all the people who are currently in court.
They having a good Christmas though, so I don't even care about Christmas. I don't even celebrate.
Granted, it's been 15 minutes into everybody returning.
I don't care.
They should be announcing at this very moment.
I got everybody else something for their birthday.
Let me see who else is in court.
Tell me about
Milagros has been pretty good.
Jaden's birthday, I celebrate.
And Lawyers for Workers has been amazing as well. We haven't seen anything since they've returned to court.
It's my son's birthday.
Twitter.
Fuck all this. No, I'm not celebrating no shit that keep making me fucking spend money for people. That's bullshit.
Chat, bro. I see y'all are baiting it.
Come on, bro. That's bullshit. Tell me
y'all are baiting it. I see some people they want guilty on all charges. Some people say not guilty.
Tell me how fucked up.
I'm here just to see justice prevail in the scope of the legal.
Why?
The legal aspect of this case.
The presence, right? So if
I'll still leave this case thinking Meg did get injured. How did she get injured?
Y'all feel sad because you don't get no presents.
I don't know. Okay. Unfortunately, this case has been mirrored with a lot of lies
nigga.
From a lot of people.
You know how sad it is to see. Like,
Kelsey's giving a story. He switched it up. Meg said she never fucked Tory. Apparently she did.
For your kids, it's like, what the fuck?
The prosecutor doesn't even want to acknowledge that maybe Meg and Kelsey were fighting.
Holiday. We should just rob. Bro, I'm just.
EJ, who's a hairstylist, came out and said, "Hey, Meg was super drunk and belligerent. The other one was blacked out drunk and passed out when at first."
I got two birthdays.
One thing we could definitely say, and I'm definitely a hypocrite because I definitely got my Hennessy
at the beginning and the end.
Alcohol is probably the reason why this happened.
Because I got Olivia, Zanaya.
And when I mean alcohol is the reason why it happened is that
shit. No.
Tory was reportedly intoxicated.
Olivia on the 8th, October 8th.
Okay.
Then Zanaya
Tory was intoxicated.
22nd.
Meg was definitely intoxicated, and so was Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's very sad that the only sober person.
And then Olivia's birthday is December 3rd.
Somebody said, "Akio, you are late." Let me see. Am I missing something?
Olivia, December 3rd.
I say go to TMZ.
Lauren, her birthday is March 15th. And then Jaden.
Somebody said go to No Jumper. I'm hesitant to do that, but okay, let's do it.
What baby?
Oh shit! No Jumper is reporting Tory Lanez has been found guilty on all
internet. I haven't seen it. Baby. I could if I want to.
What's the name of it?
Wow.
Olivia. Her name's Olivia.
Oh, so that's
we're gonna make sure other sources have confirmed the same because they reported something before that was whatever. Let's see what James Quealy says.
No, baby turned 18.
By the way, I did say before, if Tory Lanez is found guilty of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, he would get found guilty of all three. It was either he's gonna beat it all 3-0 or he was gonna go down all three. Because based on how these charges were set up, you're either gonna believe one narrative or the other. And yeah, so if you believe the narrative that he shot Meg, you're gonna probably agree with the fact that he had possession of the weapon, of a concealed weapon in a vehicle. That's one of the charges. Then he also grossly, he was negligent in discharging that weapon as well. So
like I did,
it is what it is.
Act like
Let me see.
Who she was. I walked right by like.
I'm trying to get other people to co-sign it.
You know who I was.
I'm trying to get other people right now. Only No Jumper. I'm seeing it. I'm only seeing No Jumper say it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. A jury has convicted Tory Lanez of all three charges for the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. A crazy and downright scary scene in the courtroom as his father and stepmother screamed about wicked injustice. Tory Lanez's father stood up, guessed, and screamed, "This is a wicked system." He screamed at the prosecutors that they're evil and they know exactly what they did here. His stepmother stood up, screaming and yelling. Father was yelling about Rock Nation. Hey, chat, let me tell you this. By the way, this is very unexpected for me. I will tell you though, at the beginning of this trial, at the beginning of when this all started, I've always just said we should wait until a verdict was actually presented. And just like I told you, obviously I don't know the outcome. I didn't know the outcome. Whether it was him being innocent or him being found guilty, of course he's going to probably appeal. This is a outcome that we all have to accept. This is an outcome we all got to accept. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right. So I'm not gonna be the nigga who's gonna be like, oh my God. No, I'm going to be the person who said, listen, those jurors who are in court. Granted, we have gotten a lot of the information supposedly that was presented in court, but for whatever reason, they have all concluded that he is guilty. And I have to say that this is an opinion we got to respect. Not an opinion, but this is a verdict we have to respect. Let me just see other people who are going to probably echo the same thing. It looks like that's what it is. Let me see. We're gonna probably see it very shortly. TMZ should have it almost immediately. Yep. Here we go. Found guilty of shooting Meg Thee Stallion and facing likely deportation. Tory Lanez is guilty of shooting Meg Thee Stallion in the foot. In 2020, a jury has decided. The verdict came in Friday, just before the holidays, where a group of LA jurors found the Canadian rapper guilty of all 3 charges against him: felony, negligent discharge of a firearm, assault with a semi-automatic weapon, and carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm. After the verdict was read, several of his family members shouted, calling the jurors evil. Tory was filmed entering the court before the verdict was read, telling the cameras his spirits were high. Tory now faces more than 22 years in prison, which will be determined during a sentencing at a later date. Sources connected to the case tells us Tory lawyers were in touch with immigration officials before the guilty verdict, and we're told that they're being informed that there's a strong likelihood he will be forced to leave the country. This marks the conclusion of a wild 2 weeks in court, which saw a handful of witnesses take the stand to recount what they have saw or what they say happened on that fateful night. Meg herself obviously testified, squarely pointing the finger at Tory as a sole shooter. Oh, as a shooter. She says she saw Tory with a gun, explaining she remembers him firing at her from a Cadillac Escalade, and claims he shouted, "Dance, bitch, dance." Meg Thee Stallion also testified Tory offered her $1 million to keep quiet. By the way, they didn't bring him up on bribery charges, but that was a testimony, or that was the allegation. Meg was called out by the defense for several. Oh, sorry, my bad. For several items. Here we go. For several items, including the fact that she initially wasn't forthright about having an intimate relationship with Tory, and that she initially lied to police about how her feet had gotten injured. The defense also tried to target Meg's ex-best friend Kelsey as the shooter, and the reason that she might have shot her was because of alleged creeping behind her back with guys like Ben Simmons and the baby and Tory himself, a revelation that apparently sparked a major argument among all 3 in the car. What happened in the car was
That's crazy, bro. What the fuck, bro? I can't believe this shit, bro. This is wicked. The system is rigged, bro. Fuck this shit.